Okay, here we are. Top 10 NES games of all time. And I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but let's just get the ball rolling real quick here with number 10. One of my personal favorites, Kung Fu, the side scrolling beat 'em up, one of the launch titles for the NES system, and it's still good to this day. It's only 5 levels, but it was incredibly tricky to figure it out. And yeah, it's hard. If you can do speed runs on it, it's one of the first to try and do speed runs on. Because by the time you got through it, you're like, oh man, that only took like 8 minutes. And you just try to get better and better, and then hit the B and go to the even harder level. So, up to my day, Thomas's hunt for Sylvia, Kung Fu. Okay, and taking over the 9 spot, the other beat 'em up arcade. Man, this stole a lot of quarters from me, and by the time it got on the platform and the NES, I was ecstatic. Me and my brother played this for hours and hours. It's tricky, it's a tough one, and it's fun. It really is fun to go through, and by the time you make it to the end and you have to fight for it, I mean, it was worth playing every minute of this game. Shoot, pick up a copy of it now and you'll see that it still has merit of why it's one of the greatest games on the NES system. Everybody stole from this. If you play a beat 'em up to this day, it's because they love playing Double Dragon. So here we are, number 9, Double Dragon. Okay, holding strong at the 8th spot, one of the hardest games to this day to try and beat, Ninja Gaiden. It's a platform and side scroller that really kind of stuck in more than just trying to get over the platforms. It was trying to get through the enemies that were just coming at you on an onslaught. The bosses you could really render with the mash them up button slash, and there you go, see, and you can just take them out. But the challenge to get to the boss was it was horrendous. And give them a go. They got progressively harder, and still with the ones that come out today, they're some of the hardest games you'll ever have to play, but worth it and beautiful every time. Become the Ninja Gaiden at number 8. Proudly representing the 7th spot is Metroid. This game took find the key and open the door to a whole nother realm. It was more than that. It was find the missile so you can get through this door. You have to find the spear so you can turn into a little ball. Find this so you can blow up bombs. And it made you want to find all these things to hook up your bionic suit so you could get that much better, to get through lava or acid or whatever there was. And then the end was one of the most strenuous, oh my gosh, get your heart pumping, get out of the place in time stages that are, people try to copy it, but there's really nothing that gives you that feel that this one gave you originally. I don't know, Super Metroid was really, it was right up there, but this one was the original, and it's still well done. Bringing us to number 6, Mega Man 2. And I'm sorry to pass over Mega Man 1, but Mega Man 2 was so much cleaner, brighter, and sharp that it just had to take over the spot. It was really cool. Finding these separate enemy bosses at the end of each stage and getting their weapon to fight the other bosses was a nice little calculation of what weapon beat what boss easiest to make you flow through the game cool and smooth for yourself. And then the fight at the very end was totally worth it. I still love this game, even though it's kind of hard to find and on the pricier list, but it's worth it if you can get a cartridge, and it's sweet. I played it since a kid, and it's one of my favorites. Mega Man 2. Bringing Coming up number 5 is Final Fantasy. When Hironobu Sakaguchi created this game, he said it's going to be my last fantasy game, hence the title Final Fantasy. But you can see that even to this day, people are making Final Fantasy. In 2016, the December release, Part 15 is one of the most anticipated games to come. This game was great. It gave you playtime, you were able to save, go back, and there was a huge storyline and gave you a ton of replay value. It was super sweet and introduced the world to how role-playing games should be. Even to this day, it's copied and it's still cool. Final Fantasy. Okay, here we are at number 4 with Contra. Forget platformer or beat 'em up. This is one of the original shoot 'em ups, and it was made so well that it's just awesome. It warranted several sequels that kept coming, even to super game systems that are coming out today, and it was awesome. It was the up down code. And if you play this, you can see why it was so popular. It was one of those that everybody had to get their hands on. Everybody played at least one time because it was that good. Gosh, they must have made a fortune renting this game out. It's hard to find today, but it's completely worth it if you can get your hands on a copy. Contra, yeah. Okay, getting down to it, top 3 starting off with Mike Tyson's Punchout. Yeah, Mike Tyson's Punchout, not Punchout. This one featured Mike Tyson at the end, and it was so cool to see him, especially the super huge superstar he was at the time of the 80s and 87 when this came out. Still one of the funnest punch and beat 'em up freaking boxing games there is. Every time I pop this on, to this day it has replay value. Everybody will join in on it, and the characters are so recognizable, we all love them. Mike Tyson's Punchout, number 3. Okay, here we are at number 2. I hope nobody yells at me about this one, but it's all 3 of the Mario Brothers. 1, 2, and 3 because I couldn't pick my favorite. I know there's some discussion about part 2, but I don't think you went through the struggle, and we were all super happy to have that game and wanted it so badly we could, tear our hair out to get our hands on it. Check it out, it's still one of the coolest and colorful. Part 3 was a phenom and really set the bar for how things should be done. And Part 1 is iconic because that's just the way it should be done. Launch games like that don't come along very often, but Nintendo seems to always bring it. With the Super Mario Brothers, there's no way you can't love them. You're not a fan of video games if you don't dig this series. Super Mario Brothers, number 2. Alright, here's our honorable mentions. Games we love but just weren't good enough to make the top 10 cut. Okay, and here we are at number 1. I don't think this is going to surprise anyone because this game was so well put together and it had so much playtime. It was just outrageously awesome. Legend of Zelda. the trial of Link to find Zelda. This was so cool. It had an open world map. You were able to save. You were able to go around it. I mean, now it doesn't seem like it's as deep as it was, but this was so new to people that to get through a world like this took a month, sometimes 2 months, just to explore and do everything. People weren't caught up on beating a game. It was just fun to play back then. And this one, giving you that challenge, was so worth it. And to this day, if you don't have a copy, you suck. One of the best games ever made. Legend of Zelda, #1. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you liked my list. Feel free to like, comment, and share your views. If you think I got it wrong or if you completely agree with me, that's fine, and go ahead and tell me. Maybe we'll make another list. We're going to keep them coming. The excitement of these videos is just getting us inspired to do even more. And with about 30 to 90 years of video game experience between the room, I think there's a lot of content we can be able to share. So, thanks again for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.